The mid-2012 MacBook Pro is regarded as one of the best laptops that Apple has ever made. In today's video, we're going to take a look at my personal experience if this MacBook Pro holds up in 2020. Coming up. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to have a look at this bad boy right here. This 13-inch, oh, that's upside down, 13-inch mid-2012 unibody MacBook Pro. If you're new to the channel, I make videos about tech, graphic design, and anything in between. If you find yourself enjoying today's video or any of the things listed about the content I make on the channel, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon to the right of it to be notified when new content is posted to the channel. If you're looking to stay the most up to date as you can, make sure to check out my Discord and Twitter. Both of those links are found down below the video. I post stuff about my day-to-day and any new topics that I am deciding to make videos about. Once again, those links to those different socials are found down below the video for your convenience. Gotta love those shameless YouTube content creator plugs, right? With that all out of the way, let's talk about this mid-2012 13-inch MacBook Pro. The unibody non-retina display version or model, to be very specific, on the one we're going to be taking a look at today. I purchased this through the Macari app, but I provided some links to different sites if you're interested in getting your hands on one of these mid-2012 MacBook Pros down below for both the 13-inch and 15-inch models. Renowned as one of the best all-around Apple laptops to ever be made due to full user upgradability, access to changing out the battery to put in a new one if the older one dies, and up until recently, one of the last MacBooks to not use butterfly switches for the keyboard makeup. It is no wonder this laptop has stood the test of time, but does it hold up in 2020 when it comes to things like using it for content creation? With the 13-inch mid-2012 MacBook Pro I purchased from Macari, it came with the following specs. The CPU is a dual-core i5 processor with a base clock speed of 2.5 GHz and a max frequency of 3.1 GHz. The graphics are ran by Intel's HD 4000 iGPU. 4 GB of DDR3 RAM clocked at 1600 MHz are found within this model that I received, and a 500 GB hard drive. The first thing I did when I got this laptop was switch out both the hard drive and the RAM, and maxed out the RAM actually to the max capacity it could handle, and that is 16 GB of 1600 MHz DDR3 RAM. Storage that was included in this laptop was, needless to say, a bit on the slower side. So to help with load times and overall performance, I swapped out the hard drive with a 128 GB solid state drive to use for both the OS system and apps to run off of. The procedure is super easy to swap out the hard drive for the solid state drive and only cost me an additional $30. For the SSD, since I reused the SATA connector that the hard drive used to connect to the logic board. Instead of getting rid of the extra hard drive, I decided to take out the CD-ROM drive, which was also very easy, just a couple of bolts or screws that you have to loosen up, and utilize that space to store the old 500 GB hard drive for things like documents or just backup storage. That did, however, require me to purchase another SATA connector via Amazon, which it was only an additional $15 to gain another 500 GB of storage on this mid-2012 MacBook Pro. Next up was that 4 GB of RAM, which really isn't going to cut it in 2020 when it comes to using this laptop for video editing or photo editing and the likes. So to give it a fighting chance, I decided, like I said before, to upgrade to the max capacity this laptop could handle, which was 16 GB of 1600 MHz clock speed RAM. Like installing RAM on many older Macs, it is easy to swap out the old 4 GB stick with the new 8 GB sticks of RAM. With the changeover to a solid state drive, I noticed the boot time was cut in half almost, and that was from cold booting. And then also with the upgrade to the RAM, it really did feel like the responsiveness of running apps, browsing the web felt much smoother than before the upgrades. And this is one thing I really miss from Apple laptops, is the ability to change things out if I would like to without them being soldered in by Apple and having no upgradability whatsoever. This laptop, compared to the newer generations of MacBook Pros, is definitely on the boxier and heavier side, but the overall aluminum chassis that holds everything together on this laptop feels very sturdy and not something I'm going to knock off points for. Oh, and did I mention the Apple logo on the back lights up? Man, did I miss seeing that thing. In terms of the keyboard and trackpad, this is another favorite of this generation. The typing experience is amazing to say the least, And the backlighting is very functional and also practical, providing enough backlighting or dimming with the corresponding function keys. The trackpad works well and supports all gestures current generation Apple laptops support when running Catalina. On the 13-inch mid-2012 model, it comes standard with a 1280 by 800 non-retina display. The display is by no means something to write home about, but in terms of viewing angles and quality, it performs very well and can be dimmed or brightened with the corresponding function keys, just like the keyboard. Remember when Macs used to come with ports, and I mean more than 4 ports of the same type of connection? Yeah, I remember that too. That's one thing that this laptop has that I really missed as well. You can find 2 USB Type-A ports, a SD card reader port, Firewire port, Thunderbolt 2 or the mini display port, and a headphone jack on this mid-2012 MacBook Pro. The thing is I love all of these different types of ports because it gives more utilization besides just a Type-C or Thunderbolt 3 port connection that are found on the newer generations or current generations of MacBook laptops. And man, have I loved having that SD card slot back. Okay, so all of this is great, right? We got functionality, we got the dimming and brightening of the screen and the keyboard. The keyboard feels great because it's the butterfly switches aren't there. But how does it hold up when it comes to actually utilizing this as something of a workstation or editing machine when it comes to content creation, right? That's probably what you're here for. Well, let's talk about that. When editing 1080p footage within Final Cut Pro with multiple color grades and effects, I didn't notice too much of a difference from when I was editing on my 2012 Mac Mini. Sure, there was a bit of lag when scrubbing through the timeline with different effects and LUTs applied, but nothing that couldn't be fixed with some setting changes. And export times were similar in terms of performance, with the average time for a 30-second 1080p clip with LUTs and effects taking around 2 to 3 minutes. Editing photos within Affinity Designer or Affinity Photo was also pretty flawless. There really wasn't anything that I noticed of hindering this laptop to be used for photo editing. There were no issues when applying effects such as color overlays, gradients, or blurs to images, and exporting was a breeze. Battery life on the mid-2012 MacBook Pro isn't amazing and lasts about 2 hours from 100% to 0%, using it for more intensive tasks like video or photo editing. I did, however, see a boost in the efficiency or longevity of the battery when it was just used for basic web surfing or Microsoft Word documents, things like that. I saw up to about 3.5 hours rather than 2 hours to 2.5 hours on the more intensive tasks. Remember the MagSafe Charger that Apple used to use? Yeah, this one comes with that, and I really did miss that because if you trip over the wire, well, it was MagSafe, it would fall out rather than the Type-C or Thunderbolt 3 connection chargers that will pull your laptop down with it. So this was a big plus for me too. So is this laptop worth it in 2020? With this model being 8 years old, I was surprised at how well the laptop held up when it came to editing videos and photos or the more intensive tasks. I know I didn't talk much about the performance when it comes to gaming on this laptop, but in my opinion, no Mac should be used for gaming, as they just don't do as well as their Windows competitors do when it comes to the gaming experience. So this laptop isn't going to be the quickest or the best performer when it comes to the top of the line laptops that are out today, especially from the Apple line. But when it comes to somebody just getting into content creation or a college student or student in general that is on a budget looking for a laptop that is very reliable and able to do some of those things they want to get done, I really do recommend this mid-2012 MacBook Pro. With prices ranging from $300 to $400 either through eBay, Mercari, Amazon, things of that sort, it's just a viable option for the price to performance that this laptop provides. Again, all of the links to everything and anything social or products used for this MacBook Pro or the MacBook Pro itself that I purchased is found down below the video. Again, you guys can find all of those links for your convenience. It's always going to be down below the video. But that is going to do it for me today, guys. I do appreciate you making it this far. And if you did, well, maybe you liked the video and I ask you leave it a thumbs up. But if you didn't, there's always that dislike button so you can leave it a thumbs down as well. Thanks again for watching, guys. And until the next time, happy decoding.